Maharaj, I was studying that Hegel's book about the the arts, the aesthetics, and I find it's a very good book with a lot of different points. So, do you think that we should contribute something because she's already doing Kanupriya Devi?
Yeah,
She
she
may
will
not have
benefit
studied
from
Hegel.
that book. Huh? What's that?
I mean, she might not have studied Hegel much. So maybe we can provide some of the things if
It's a
to her
good
own things.
book as far as introduction, I think, also. It has its own introduction to his ideas. So she may benefit from that. And if she keeps that two principles, huh? Sridhara is told, die to live, and reality by
Yeah.
itself and for itself, then she'll be able to understand it properly, I think.
Okay.
These are the two things that we have to keep in mind when we're reading Hegel. Why does he say that? Why does Sridhara tell? That is the essence, the gist of Hegel.
One is the substantial truth. Other is that truth is personality. So it establishes God's personality, supreme personality of Godhead.
Yes, yes, that is also there.
And die to live is to die in our misconception and to live in the
Die to live means service.
yeah.
Once Govinda Maharaj told one devotee, die to live means serve. Don't take it in a big way, in a dramatic way. Serve. Ah, Tony? Hare Krishna, Tony. Dhanyavad, Uma Devi.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Maharaj.
Dhanyavad. Nice to see you again, Tony. You have been away for a while.
Some problem, not yet made it sound on.
Okay. So what is the news? Any news? Shanta Maharaj?
Nothing much, Maharaj.
Nothing
Today we
much?
had some devotees came from Bengal, and we had a celebration, Guru Purnima here.
Okay.
We had some little kirtan in the morning, then we had some program in the evening, like that. Here online we had.
Nothing at the mud.
I joined in the morning, then you know I was little busy with this online things. Some Vijayawada devotees also asked to have the program today, and then we had a Saturday Sangha also today.
Okay. Yeah, today, Guru Purnima. Worship of Guru Vyasadeva. Very important for us in this line, Parampara, Vyasadeva.
When Mahaprabhu himself uh, wanted to do the Vyas Puja of Nityananda Prabhu.
I can't hear you.
I'm saying Mahaprabhu himself organized the Vyas Puja of Nityananda Prabhu on this day.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay. God. The Universal Guru, Nityananda Prabhu.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting that when Srila Prabhupada introduced this Vyasa Puja to the his disciples. He came here to India. He said, "Come with me. I want to show you how the spiritual master should be worshipped." And he took them to uh, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mutt to see how they worshipped Srila Sridhara Maharaj. You know that?
Yes, Maharaj. It is mentioned in the book also.
Yeah. So this demonstration to the devotees, what is that? Vyasa Puja, how that should be celebrated, what is the proper mood. He showed that by the example of the Vyasa Puja, a celebration of Sridhar Maharaj. So this is very important that he gave his most important function. He showed that proper attitude and method through Srila Sridhar Maharaj's example.
Maharaj, in his Vyas Puja, many of his god brothers used to come, and they
Yeah.
used to do extraordinary worship of Siddhar Maharaj.
Yes.
And Siddhar Maharaj's mood also very serious.
Yes.
The way he was accepting their worship is also extraordinary.
Yes. So the in the Gaudiya Mutt and in Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mutt, it was their tradition to do the Guru Puja on Guru Purnima. And then when the ISKCON devotees learned this under Srila Prabhupada about this, they took it to be something you do every day.
Yeah.
They are doing that Vyasa Puja every day. But it was reserved actually for Guru Purnima. And every day the devotees in and the Sri Chaitanya Saraswati, of course, they are worshiping Guru not by flowers and prayers and things like that, but by their daily service, their dedicated service. What is that? Ahoitikiya pratiyata, their unconditional and uninterrupted service. Unconditional means I am not doing that service for some result. Unmotivated. I'm not doing it for motivation of just getting some result. I'm doing that out of spontaneous affection and love and surrender to our Gurudev. And that is so deep, so genuine, so authentic that it is no way, under no circumstances does it change, just as Mahaprabhu told that I don't care if you crush me under your feet, crush me by your embrace. Don't, if you never come before me, leave me brokenhearted. Under any condition, that's a oitiki. Under any condition, that is not the question of judging my service or no service. That type of authentic, genuine commitment. It doesn't depend on any external condition. That is dedication. That is devotion, and not merely emotion. And always with so much uh, love that there's no room for enviousness, criticism, things like that. They're not interesting. For devotee who has understood Krishna and Guru's representation of the Supreme Lord for the real devotee. More than that, different stages of realization between the devotee and the Guru, his disciple and Guru. So Guru Purnima. But the word Purnima, in the lunar sense, it means a full moon. Full moon, Purnima, complete all, complete moon. The beginning of the month, the lunar calendar, Purnima. And also found in that Ishopanishad verse, Om Purnam, Purnam, complete. Purnam, Purnima, similar words, connected. That Purnam, complete all. So that complete worship of the Guru completely, or the worship of the absolute, the complete absolute, the whole truth, the absolute truth, Purnima, all of it. By worshiping whom? Everything else is satisfied. That is Krishna. By worshiping Krishna, everything else is accomplished. Just like you water the root, the whole tree. Tree may be very large, but you don't water the whole tree, you only water the root, but the whole tree gets the benefit. So like that. By worshiping whom, all else is satisfied and is taken care of. We don't have any other concern, any other duty than the satisfaction of Guru Dev. And then all other duties are taken care of. Mam ekam sharanam braja, Krishna says in the Gita. Ekam, ekam means only me. Don't surrender to all these other things. Surrender to me and everything else. Aham tvam sarva papabhyo. Then everything else will be forgiven. Everything else will be taken care of. Moksha shami. And you'll get liberation from all of those things. The Guru Purnima is a very important day. To make that a special day of worship of Guru Dev. This is very nice to remind everyone what we are doing each year. What is our special attention? Otherwise, as I said, that is not generally carried out in the Gaudiya tradition. But each day, the devotees are engaged in just seemingly ordinary service. But it's all very special, of course. Sometimes the devotees ask me to write something for Prabhupada's, to Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. I told them, I am not doing that type of puja or worship and with words and flowers. I'm not interested in that type of puja. My interest is Seva Puja. I want to worship Prabhupada by whatever service I can do. By service. And the Ramakrishna mission, they have some kind of idea that regular service to humanity is service to Krishna. What do they say? Workers worship. That's what they say. Huh? Workers worship. Whatever work you're doing, that is already worshiping Krishna. That is not exactly our idea. Any work you do, that is also service. No, not any work. Work you do for the satisfaction of Guru and Krishna. That is worship. You worship Krishna and Guru by serving them, by pleasing them, by trying to, or at least trying to please them. Our idea is like that. How to please, do something that will be pleasing to our Guru Dev. Will be pleasing to Krishna. The whole life is based upon that principle. Sadhu Krishna Prabhu, Haribol.
Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam,
Dandavat.
how are you?
I'm okay. How are you, Prabhu?
Yes, we are making service. We are good. Trying to make
Okay.
service.
Yeah, very nice.
Sorry because we are late. Sorry.
No, yes, it's okay.
Magoritka.
So Guru Purnima, we're talking about Guru Purnima. Then the moon has the full light of the moon. Full round circle of the moon is visible. And then each cycle of the days of the moon are 15 in number. Huh? The tithis that divide the different phases of the moon, from the full moon to the Amavasya. Hare Krishna, Shamagur. Evo. How are you, Mataji?
I'm fine.
Okay, then.
Now better. I'm
Now better.
here with you and
Jai. Your grace. So the moon goes from full moon, Purnima, to Amavasya, dark, when there does seem to be no moon in the sky. Due to the different degrees of light that the moon shows us by the conjunction of the sun and the moon and the stars, sun and the earth, and there are different phases of the moon. So that is the from the full moon, Purnima, to the Amavasya dark moon. That is called the Shukla Paksha. Shukla Paksha means the bright half of the moon. Then in the next half of the month, there's the Krishna Paksha, going from the dark moon to the bright moon. Like that every lunar month, there is the waxing and waning. Waxing of the moon means the moon is coming brighter. Waning means it's becoming darker. And like that. And on the 11th day of that cycle that we observe is called Ekadasi. Ekadasi, in Sanskrit means 11, 10 and 1. Eka means 1, Dasi means 10. So 11. On the 11th day of that cycle, that we call the Ekadasi, and we fast. Stays. Like that. Purnima. So every day is Purnima for us, though, because we are worshiping the complete whole. Not only based on the moon, but on everything. Our heart's fulfillment. So Sridhara always used to tell us about the organic whole. You know, that we must understand the organic whole. Now, two words are very important there, organic and whole. You can have a ball, a complete ball. The whole ball is there, but it's not organic. A ball is not organic, it's static, dead, more or less, from our perspective. The whole is there, or the whole pie, or pizza, but it's more or less not alive. Now, organic whole, now that means there's some interaction going on inside there that makes it whole. A living entity is an organic whole. To make that individual, it must be alive. The heart, the lung, everything must be working together. Right? Must work together. And then it becomes organic whole. And if you try to separate those parts, the thing will disintegrate. If you take a pizza pie, you take one piece out, the pizza is still there. The rest is still there. It doesn't suffer anything from taking one piece out. But in a living entity, if you take the liver out or the kidney or something like that, then it will suffer. Because they're integral parts of the whole. So this is the difference between the organic whole and ordinary whole, inorganic whole. So we are members of an organic whole. Ah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You look like you're out in Oklahoma somewhere, Kansas.
I have my aunt in New Hampshire. I like to think that that's New Hampshire, but I don't know where it is.
Okay. Very nice. So, organic whole and inorganic whole. We are members of the organic whole. It means there's some essential role each of us plays. We have some significant part to play. Otherwise, if our part is removed, then the whole thing is cannot function normally. Therefore, the soul is eternal. Eternal, part and parcel of the Lord. We all have some part to play. Well, in the fullness of Krishna's pastimes. The fullness of Krishna's pastimes are considered infinite. That is the infinite plane. And we are considered finite. But the finite does not mean doesn't have anything to do. Has no significance. Because a part of the infinite, how much is that part of the infinite? If you take the infinite and you take one part of that infinite, that part is also infinite. In mathematics, we can find that. A part is as infinite as the infinite. Not quite as much, but it's also infinite. It can't be considered merely finite. There's no such thing as merely finite or merely infinite. They are both essential. You can't have an infinite if there's no finite within it. But that finite is also infinite. One and different. But they're not the same quantity, that's all. Part of the infinite is not the same as the infinite itself. In mathematics, the infinite may be all the different types of numbers, you can say. And that what is not that full infinite, you can have, say, all the real numbers. Real numbers mean 1, 2, 3, 4. But the infinite may consist of 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, then 2, then 2.1, 2.3. So that infinite is bigger than the real numbers. Real numbers are also infinite. You can count from 1 to infinity. But if you include all the decimal, 1.2, 1.3, 2.2, 2.6, like that, 2.67824, you can go on with infinite numbers. But a certain class of numbers also may be infinite, but not including all those decimal points. There's also a type of number. So like that. There are differences within the infinite, and they're also infinite. But not the full. Anyhow, this the possibility is there. Infinite and a so-called finite. So the whole, or the infinite whole, not exactly the same idea, but they're related. Govinda Maharaj used to speak of the degrees of Krishna consciousness. He would say sometimes somebody may be 50% Krishna conscious, or 25%, or 85%. Uh, I was also reading the other day that Srila Sridhara was explaining that devotees are always going up and down. Sometimes they're becoming 85, 95%. Then sometimes they're only becoming 25%, depending on where their concentration is, their consciousness is. We become more conscious of the outer world, or more conscious of the inner flow, antaranga, and the outer, or the outer flow that's taking us out to the outer world. Bahiranga, trying to think. The outward flow is called Bahiranga. Bahiranga Shakti. Bahiranga, out, to exit. And then there's the Antaranga. That is the only inner flow. And then there's the place between. That place between is called Tatashta. Tatashta Shakti. So we are influenced by either the Antaranga, Tatashti, or Bahiranga Shakti. And in that way, our consciousness is being developed in either direction or remaining in a neutral position. That's going on. As Krishna says in the Gita, what is that verse? Ye yatamam prapadyante. Ye yatamam prapadyante. Prapadyante means a surrender. Ye yatamam, as you surrender to me, I will reward you. Those who are surrendering more to Krishna, we enter into the Antaranga Shakti, the indwelling, inner directed world. But not so surrendered, then we enter into the outer. Krishna provides the Antaranga Shakti for those who are not so intently considering him, intently meditating on him, or intently serving him. Oh, you want something else? Okay, here. You can meditate on this or that or the other thing. But because the soul is, by his own nature, constitution, an eternal servant of Krishna, whether you are being influenced by the Antaranga or Bahiranga, it is your intention, your desire that's deciding that, your own free will. But it is not that we can manifest these things on our own. They are being manifested for us. Man proposes and God disposes. Means by our own desire, we may want Krishna, but that fulfillment of that desire is coming from Krishna. By your own desire, you may want to be a billionaire. But in order to become that, and not, you just can't do it by your desire. It won't be sufficient. Some other things are necessary. And ultimately, it's only by the will of God that you would ever do that. But we don't know. That's the case. We think by working hard or this or that, the other thing. But somehow these billionaires become billionaires sometimes without being even educated. They don't even have any real education. and they become billionaire. Somebody, for some twist of fate, they become. But that is not in their hand. That is somehow given to them. Scientists may be working very hard to solve some problem. Many times we hear these stories in the scientific history. They're working very hard to solve some problem. And then by some miracle, some grace, they know it is, that it becomes manifest to them. What is the solution? One chemist who was trying to think of some problem, solution to some problem, and thinking so many years, that one day he stepped up on the bus, put his foot on the bus, and the solution came to him like that. So where do these insights suddenly come from? Thinking of something entirely different, and the solution suddenly comes through all those confused thoughts. So the infinite and the finite, they're connected. And it is told that Saraswati, I think Saraswati Thakur told that when the finite, when the infinite wants to approach the finite, when the infinite wants to come in contact with the finite, what is the process? That is called Guru. That is called Guru. Guru. The infinite contacts the finite. That point of contact is called Guru. Huh? How will the finite ever reach the infinite? I think that's a big problem. It's impossible, actually. Finite, however big the finite is, it will never approach the infinite. Infinite means there's no slow approach to that. Either it's infinite or it's not. Uncountable. So the finite is counting everything. And how by that counting it can reach the infinite? Impossible. But should not be impossible for the infinite to reach the finite. Otherwise, how can it be infinite? Not restricted. There's no restriction. Yet it meets the finite. Then, what is that process? That is Gurudev. Sri Krishna, huh? We have a chance, huh? We have a chance to come in touch with the infinite. Not impossible, not hopeless for us. But how many know this? How many people take advantage of this? Vedic civilization makes this a very clear, very important point, most important point. In any religion in this world, we don't find this emphasized. The emphasis on Guru. And not give some Guru is maybe some teacher, and you learn something from that. Then finish, you become perfect, and Guru doesn't play any more role, huh? It was your teacher, that's all. But Vedic civilization says this point is very important. You must. If you are a human being, if you are to fulfill the real purpose of your human life, then Guru is there. Essential. Otherwise, you are no better than the animals, the insects. Your life is as good as their life. If you have no connection with the infinite, infinite means the organic whole. We're using infinite and organic whole as similar terms. That's what we want. That will fulfill our education, our knowledge. In the Bhagavad Gita, there's one verse, and it gives the items of knowledge. And it doesn't mention anything about mathematics or economics or social development or social media. But it does mention that one must have to take a guru. That is the central point of education. One must realize the importance of that, what is the significance of that, and then seriously try to find that and make your connection and then make your progress in spiritual life. Progress toward the infinite, the eternal, the immortal. It does exist. It does exist. And we can get there. But in no other religion do we find this. Well, in most religions, you just have to follow certain laws, certain principles, and that's it. And no guru. In Christianity, there's Jesus. And the Muslim, there's Muhammad. But after that, we don't find the real intermediary. I mean, they have the priests and so forth. But they are not given the same significance as we understand guru. So sometimes people come and they don't understand the seriousness of what we're teaching. I don't like that. They take it cheaply. We're not to be taken cheaply. Tradition of the Vedas is very serious and very important and essential. When Saraswati Thakur held a festival, so many people came. And he was preaching to him from his platform, preaching to them from his platform of the seriousness that he took. Important the teachings of Krishna consciousness. And they all came and you know how Indians do this with their head. Yes, yes, Swamiji. Then
The ladies will do ululululu sound and then they go. Ululu.
the what? Oh, this, yes. Then what are they doing, you know? So he was preaching in this series and they were coming in some kind of, you know, nonchalant, uh, neutral way. What do you think? Like Jesus also was very angry at those who came to him and didn't understand, didn't appreciate really what he was doing. He said they are like, these people are like swine, like hogs and pigs. They're coming to take I'm giving them pearls and they are trampling over the pearls. Not only do they trample over the pearls, but they also come to kill that person who's giving the pearls. I told something like that in the Bible. Casting pearls before swine. Is that very advanced civilization. So we have to understand the seriousness of this Vedic injunctions. They may not be familiar to our traditions, but Vedic civilization is very serious. And who can appreciate that? They can get the maximum benefit in their whole life, highest benefit. And their lives will become successful. Many people, they're absorbed in debt and confusion within their own daily lives, family lives, and so forth, going about their own work. And no one is helping them. No one can help them. A guru can help. Guru can help everyone to get free from that type of ignorance and despair. In the scriptures, it is said, Maharaj, maybe you know the exact word, that one is not a father or a mother or a teacher.
Guru na sasya, parijana na sasya.
Yes.
Guru na sasya.
Anyhow, this verse in the scriptures, one is not really a mother, a father, or this or that, or a guru even. We cannot free one from the clutches of illusion. One is not a scientist. He cannot free those, whatever knowledge he has, he cannot free others or himself from illusion. From the illusion that the daily lives you are living are very nice. It's okay. Everything is fine. No. They're not fine. You're dying and your dependents are dying. If you cannot free them from death, bring them to the plane of immortality, which is our natural condition, then you are not worthy of being called. You're not serving your function. Your function is to liberate others who are dependent on you from the illusion of death. You may say, well, everyone's dying. Everyone, even so-called guru, is going to die. And what are you talking about? Because it's not about this body, not about bodies. It's about the spirit soul. Yes, bodies are going to die. That's what these bodies mean. Body means it's meant to suffer, perish. Doesn't go stay forever. Changing, Jagat, part of the changing world. But wherever there is change, there is also that which is unchanged. Otherwise, you cannot speak of change. Unchanging world is there. And that guru has to elevate the living entity to understand that unchanging world. The unchanging world, which also changes. How can it be an unchanging world that also changes? Contradiction. Yet, there is such a world. We can understand by the simple example that an unchanging world that's always a world that's always changing is actually unchanging. It never stops changing. So that is its unchanging nature. But to understand that kind of unchanging change, and with both of its senses, that is called transcendental knowledge. We are living in an organic whole. In an organic whole, nothing remains the same. Our bodies are constantly undergoing change called metabolism. And there are three processes involved in metabolism. There's anabolism, catabolism, and metabolism. You know that? Every cell, every molecule in your body is undergoing these three processes of creation, destruction, and maintenance. Creation is called anabolism. Destruction is called catabolism. And maintenance is called metabolism. We ourselves are constantly made up of those processes. In the Gita, they are called Tama, Raja, and Sattva. Tama, destructive, Raja, creative, productive, and Sattva, maintained. And we are made up of that process. We're not just a thing. All these so-called things are always changing, transforming one into another by those three processes. So this transcendental knowledge is there in the scripture. Guru Dev is the emporium, is the reservoir of those, all of that. Not that it belongs to Guru. Nothing belongs. Guru understands, who genuine Guru understands, nothing belongs to us. It is the property of his Guru Dev. He sees like that, or the property of Krishna. Sarvasya chaham ridishani vishno matasmatir jnanam apohanancha. Krishna says in the Gita, I am within everyone's heart, and everything, knowledge, forgetfulness, whatever is there, coming from me. And he also says, Vedaischa sarvam ahameva vedo. And I am the originator of the Vedas. So this is the role of Srila Vyasadeva. The originator, the writer, all these things, is actually Narayan himself. Not We may see Guru as Narayan himself or the representative of Narayan, whatever way we can connect Guru with that higher world. That is the actual Guru. I was connected there. Not bewildered like an ordinary soul into thinking that he has some special relationship among the other living entities. No relationship there. His relationship was the higher world. Guru Purnima. And today also the disappearance of Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami is the Acharya of Sambandha Gyan. What is our position? Sambandha. Veda, I like to think Veda are the map. Veda are the map, tells us where we are going, where we want to go. Give the instructions for humanity. And if you have a map, there are three things you need to know before you could use that map. One, where you are. If you have a map, but you don't know where you are, it's useless, is it? Map can show you so many places. But if you don't even know where you are, where to start from, where do you look on the map? How can the map be of help? You have to know where you are first. First point, map is not valuable to you if you have no idea where you are. Some alien comes to Earth and you show him, here's the map of the Earth. But he doesn't, well, where am I? Where do I start? Here in New York? Am I in Rome? Am I in St. Petersburg? Where am I? You have to know that first. That we call sambandhagyan. Now, the next thing you have to know, where do you want to go? What is your destination? Map won't help you if you don't have any place to go. Necessary if you have some place to go. A prayojan, your goal. And then the map becomes useful. Then you can see how I can get there. That is the use of the map. You first know your starting point, you know your ending point, and then to get some idea how to go from here to there, then map becomes useful. So Vedas are like that. They are giving us some direction, how we can follow. Abhideya, that's called Abhideya. And Sanatan is the first essential point where we are, sambandhagyan. What is our relationship? Krishna. And Rupa Goswami has given Abhideya, the path to get there. Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sampatavana, that famous verse. And Raghunath Das has given us prayojan. What is our prayojan? Radha Dasya. Now, some people will say it's Krishna. Raghunath has not agreed with that. He says our path, the path of the Vaishnava tradition, is Radha Dasya. Not Radharani, but the service of Radharani. So Sanatana Goswami. And the Chaitanya Charitamrita is famous for saying, Kayami. He's asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Kayami, I'm so educated person, but I don't even know who I am. That's the starting point. Where am I? What is my situation? Kayami. And then next question was, why am I suffering? If you're here about why you're suffering, then why? What did I do? Did I do something wrong? When we are suffering, we think, what have I done wrong? No? That I'm being punished. In the Greek literature, as one mentioned, it says, where it says, we suffer because we have erred. We suffer because we have erred, because we have done something wrong and gone off. Otherwise, we shouldn't be suffering. We're meant to be happy. But if we're suffering, then something we have to look. What does I do? It's part of human life, human heart. And consider these things. Animals, they suffer and they don't think of those things. They simply tolerate. Go on. One time I saw this video on the internet. The bear came up to the house to get some food. And the lady, it turns out this lady had taken care of this bear when he was maybe his foot got caught in a trap or something. Anyhow, when it was a baby, and somehow that bear remembered that lady's house, and they came there for some food one day, and he was walking with one limp leg, coming. And then he heard the dog bark, and he ran away. But you could see he was just living with that hurt paw, not wondering why. What's going on? What did he do wrong to get this hurt paw? He wasn't thinking like that. Huh? But human beings can think. Why do good men suffer? Anyhow, so these kind of things, we, Sanatan Goswami was asking to Mahaprabhu, why am I suffering? I become an educated person. I try to do everything right. But really, like he said, I don't know who I am even. And I don't know why I'm suffering. What's going on? So Mahaprabhu had to answer all these basic questions for Sanatan, and he was the compiler of all that, the answers that Mahaprabhu gave. He wrote so many books explaining these. It's a very nice book that, what is that? The summary of the Bhagavatam. Srihad Bhagavatamrita. Huh? Is it that book? Very nice. And that book, one time, Srila Sridhara Maharaj told to Prabhupada, there, Sanatana has explained the gradations of consciousness, spiritual evolution of consciousness, from this position to the next platform to the next. That you should make it in diorama form. He told the Prabhupada, you have so much money now, we'll make it in diorama form. And this will show the people how to make progress in their own spiritual life. And he called that the planet, Prabhupada called that the planetarium. Now they are building that big building, big temple in Mayapur. Prabhupada wanted us, the scientists, to do that. And then I found that they weren't thinking of Bhagavatam when they wanted to make that temple. They didn't know that Sridhar Maharaj had asked Prabhupada to do that. Gave him the initial inspiration. So Prabhupada told he wants it to be like the fifth canto of the Bhagavatam. That wasn't the original idea of Sridhar Maharaj, but he understood, yes, that's also a necessary thing. It's also part of the planetarium. How are they connected? Anyhow, after some time they adopted that idea also of Bhagavatam. Brihad Bhagavatamrita, and put it in the temple design. So all these things are there. How many? I don't know how many of you know all this history. Anyhow. So those are the two projects that Prabhupada gave his scientists. One to prove that life comes from life and matter comes from life. And the other was to build a planetarium. They get the design, make the design, the conceptual program for making a planetarium. These are the things Prabhupada wanted. And also, they wanted that the ISKCON, or the Society of Devotees, should make a place for the education, system of education, for the disciples, for the students. He didn't want them to be just, jumping up and down, which is also okay when they're doing that for Krishna, but also have an education, spiritual education, spiritual knowledge, Dibya Gyan, Initiation doesn't mean just get some mantra. The real initiation means divya gyan. Divya gyan. To get some transcendental knowledge. This is the purpose. To transfer that transcendental knowledge to the heart of the devotee, of the disciple. Divya gyan. So this is necessary. We think it's not necessary to have any knowledge. Of course, that's not realistic. That's not proper. That's not Purnam. So anyhow, my few ignorant comments about Guru Purnima and Sanatana Goswami. Maharaj, would you like to say something?
Maharaj, this Purnima, you told about full moon. So I was thinking it is a moon, not the sun. So moon gives, some coolness. So this world is, told to be like, full of so many trita, means some kind of burning. So by the grace of Guru, I think that is all extinguished. That thing. So by the vision and by Gurudev's loving Adhama Janara Bandhu, is the friend of the fallen.
Samsaradava nanaliloka. Even you are a human being. What to speak of those who are in position, who cannot, those who are in leadership position, they should not, they have that position. If they cannot teach how to get out of this material forest fire. But even those who are human beings, to be a real human being, you must also be able to not entangle others in the worldly illusion, but how to liberate. Otherwise, you are not a real human being. You're not a genuine human being. You wasted your life and you're wasting the lives of others.
Maharaj,
Yes.
I think that Haryananda would like to make a question for you. It's possible?
What?
Haryananda would like to make a question.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay.
Haryananda, ¿puedes hacer tu pregunta?
Dandava Pranam. Porque el Maharaja está hablando, ¿no? Acerca del infinito, del finito, y puso un ejemplo de las matemáticas, donde, según entendí, por ejemplo, el número 1, potencialmente, el 1, aunque es 1, potencialmente él puede convertirse o reproducirse en muchos unos infinitamente. Por lo tanto, aunque haya el número 1, dentro de ese número 1 está la potencialidad o la energía potencial de transformarse en mucho. O desde el punto de vista de la física, en física está la energía potencial, y hay muchos tipos de energía. Por lo menos cuando un objeto está en reposo, él no tiene energía cinética o su energía cinética es nula en ese momento. Pero dentro de ese objeto en reposo hay una potencialidad que puede ir y esa energía potencial se puede transformar en energía cinética o de movimiento. Entonces, mi pregunta es la siguiente. Cuando se recibe la iniciación, cuando se le da el mantra a la persona, sería como que a esa persona se le da una energía potencial, se le abre la posibilidad de que se recibió eso, hay una potencialidad en el ser, en la persona, pero a través del servicio, esa energía potencial se transforma en cinética, o sea, se mueve a través de esa energía que cinética que vamos a llamar servicio, y solo a través de ese servicio es entonces en que podemos hablar de que existe una iniciación efectiva. Si antes no existe ese movimiento, ese seba, podríamos decir que esa quedó entonces como una iniciación virtual, y que cuando se hace el servicio y uno se conecta en la práctica, en el sadhana bhakti, entonces se podría hablar de que esa persona o ese devoto, ese practicante, ha desarrollado, la iniciación la ha pasado a ser una iniciación efectiva. Podría verse desde ese punto de vista.
Maharaj, Haryananda is saying that you give an example in the mathematics where he says that if he understood properly, in the number one, there is the potence to be an infinite there, a limitless inside the number one. So he's making the following question, Maharaj. When an object is stopped, it doesn't have any kinetic energy in that moment, but it has the potency to get some kinetic energy. So could we say that when someone's truly receive initiation and get the mantra and the instruction from the guru, is like if we get that energy, that movement energy from the service to get the progress and to go in? Is that the real meaning of initiation? Could we say like that?
And we have to understand one thing, though, that we don't get the one. Not that he's giving us the one, if I understand properly what he's saying. Huh? Is he saying something like that? That we're getting the whole from Guru?
No, I understood, Maharaj, that he's saying that the guru imparts some energy in us so we can get more movement and change our position. Like we have that potence inside us that's sleeping. Then the guru wakes up that and gives me more movement.
That potency.
Yes.
Well, we do have, because we are, of course, with the energy of the Lord. It's not our energy, however. Seems to me the energy for serving is coming from gurus, coming from Krishna. We don't have anything on our own. I think Shanta Maharaj sometimes uses that example, that we are like the hammer. Does hammer have any energy to move? To put the nail in the board, the wood? Has to be energy, that hammer has to be picked up by some human, some person, and utilized as an instrument for some service. But one thing I think that missing in many people's understanding, many people's conception, is how much we are dependent on the will of the Lord. We are depending on the will of the Lord. By his will, everything gets done. The blade of grass can't move without his will. And the energizing is coming from him. He is the energizing force. And he is utilizing us. We are only the instruments of his will. Whatever is inspired in us is actually his and satisfaction with us. And in that satisfaction, that joy, and his dancing, we are moving because of his dancing. And who has that good fortune to have the grace of that energizing force? That is the devotee. One time, I know Govinda Maharaj told, they say that because Krishna likes, sometimes we say, who is a Vaishnava? Somebody who makes another a Vaishnava, or somebody who awakens a person's ability to say Hare Krishna, or a person whom you are happy to see when you meet them. But Govinda Maharaj said, a devotee is someone whom Krishna likes. So I think it's up to Krishna, devotee. In my understanding, Prabhu, I don't mean to disagree with you.
Maharaj, it is told also same in Bhagavatam also, that in Bhagavatam also it is told, Maharaj, that millions of life you may take Sadhu-Sanga, and millions of life you may listen, millions of life you may give speak like Pravachan, Harikatha. You will not get until and unless Lord sanctions you to
Yes,
accept him as his own.
yes. So, I mean, even you are using the inspiration from your heart. You feel some inspiration and you are cultivating that inspiration. If you are an artist or somebody like that, you want to or a musician, you want to cultivate, and you feel some inspiration in glorifying and praising the Lord and serving with that inspiration. Like I was saying before with the scientists, that inspiration, where it comes from, we don't know. And if Krishna withdraws his power, you won't have that. You won't have that. Even that comes from Krishna and not ours. Sarvasya chaham? No, sorry. Karana, what is that verse? Sarva karana karanam, huh? Sarva karana karanam. That's how we understand. That's how I understand it from what I have heard and read. I don't know. I guess, I am not absolute. No, no doubt. By no means not complete. Only what we have read, what we have heard, what we've understood, we can only say that. So my understanding is like that. However, you may have a different understanding, and I'd like to know what that is. If you think you can explain what you're saying better in a more convincing way, I like to hear. Shantamaz, what is your idea?
Well, I think there is some thing like potency, or this consciousness is being told. Sometimes I heard the Chit Shakti ball, that some kind of Chit Shakti strength is being given to Jiva soul, but I'm not sure that is given at the stage of initiation, but it comes to the in living entity, when the higher world is satisfied by the grace of the higher world. So it's something it is told because jiva from the position of tathastha, or even entangled in the mahamaya's plane, by its own strength, it is ever possible for it to go to another plane like yogamaya. Some strength has to be given to the jiva soul to go there.
Anyhow, in the world of Sharanagati, from that plane, the complete dependence on the Lord is a very good quality. And that would put us in that plane of total surrender, taking shelter only in Krishna. There we'll find highest existence, highest identity, fully manifested. But of course, Krishna doesn't expect us to be puppets. He likes sometimes to be challenged and so forth and so on. And there is room for creativity there, I'm sure, for our own creativity. So very,
I was also remembering the case of Dhruva Maharaj.
yeah.
Dhruva Maharaj, when he had the darshan of Lord, he wanted to glorify him, but he had no idea about what to glorify to Lord. Then Lord has placed his conch on his head. Then he chanted many hymns to glorify him, because Lord understood his desire to do so.
Well, I think main thing is if we are sincere in our desire to please Krishna, please Guru, it
Maharaj,
doesn't really matter what you're doing to get to that point, but that you're doing that, and that Krishna is actually pleased with our service. I think that's the criteria. If Guru and Krishna are actually pleased by our whatever we are doing and whatever way we do it, then that is the criterion of success. I'm sorry, Jada Gopal, yes?
no, sorry me, Maharaj, I interrupt you. It's that Harinanda sent the question, a complementary question about that. He's saying that many people think that when they receive an initiation, that is already finished the process. You have initiation, so you already got Krishna.
Yeah.
That, please one moment. And that he thinks that's not like that. We should obey the Guru and actively make service. If not only chant the mantra, but make service. That we must follow the desire of our spiritual master. If it's like that, if it's right what he's saying.
Yes, I often find that in my own life, actually. I'm always thinking how I can explain these scientists that life comes from life. And it requires a lot of effort from me. I have to read so many things and think about so many things because I'm very fallen and things don't just come to me automatically unless I work very hard.
I have one question.
1 minute, Tony?
Yes, I have one question.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, I think the Spanish question was very profound, and thank you very much. It's very complicated and deep. My question is, I am not understanding the fundamentals. Why do I need to please?
Yes. Well, why do you do anything?
I don't do much.
The point is, if I get back to what I was saying, I find myself having to use some energy, intelligence. Is it difficult to use your intelligence or my intelligence? So I have to work to do that. And it seems that my intelligence has to come up with some solution how to preach to these people and to make myself better at presenting that more clearly and more effectively. I feel like I'm doing that. But at the same time, I realize that no matter how much effort I put into trying to make someone else understand or make myself understand, that is not up to me, especially when you're talking to somebody else. You think you're convinced, and then you try to tell someone else, and they're totally unmoved. And I realize, what have I done? No? not up to me. Somehow they are inspired by Krishna also. They have to be inspired. It's up to him. I come to that point of view. So why do we have to please Krishna? That, can you think that why were we created at all? Why is there anything? Why is there a world? Why do I exist? So that question has an answer if we are willing to hear. That is to please Krishna. We are created for that purpose only. We have no other purpose for being here. That is our eternal nature of the Jiva soul. Otherwise, why? Yeah, you're here, you see so many flowers, so many trees, so many people. There's so many different things to do. Why? That, not that for nothing, to live and breathe and eat and sleep and then die. I once wrote a poem, a little, well, not a poem, but a little few lines that crossed my mind. A lump of earth got up from the earth to walk the earth and eat the earth and return to the earth and wonder why. Whatever got into inert dirt, yes. A lump of dirt got up from the earth to walk the earth and eat the earth, to return to the earth and wonder why. Whatever got into inert dirt. It's like that. So what is it all for? Devotee has to ask those kind of questions. And the scriptures tell us that Krishna is the enjoyer. Govinda means he enjoys, the enjoyer. Ishar means the controller, the enjoyer, the source. I mean, these are the answers to those questions that nobody else can answer. But we have to have faith, first of all, that the Veda are the word of God, that there is a person who is behind all personalities. And just as we like to enjoy things, we do things because we get some satisfaction out of that. And that's supreme also, sat-cit-ananda. His nature is to be and to be conscious and to be enjoying. Sridhara Maharaj once said, these philosophers reach great heights in their thoughts about the universe, but they all seem to miss one thing. That complete whole, that universe, is also there's enjoyment behind there. The enjoying element they forget to include in their philosophy. Nothing happens without having some satisfaction behind that. So this is the great secret of the Veda. Enjoyment must also be included in our considerations of things. And we are not meant to be just some lazy slugs crawling around in this mud of this world. We have an ecstatic position. Amritasya putra, it tells. We are sons of nectar. Amritasya. Amrit. We are sons of the eternal nectar world. We're part and parcel of a nectarian existence. We're meant to be happy. We're supposed to be not only happy, but joyful beyond all consideration, all comparison. And if we're not having that, we're missing something very deeply essential and important in our lives. We must be bursting with joy, bursting with ecstasy. We are meant for that type of life, not for anything else. So if you're not experiencing that, then you'll have to change something in your life, change your thinking, change your consciousness, change your heart. And by hearing from the devotees, by hearing from Guru, we can learn about that life. And we must come to that position, how we can avoid such a thing. That is called sin. To not enjoy your life to the fullest extent, to the highest happiness you can achieve, that is a sin. And that it caused, and what is causing you not to be there is your sinful life, to want to turn away from that. Try to get some other pleasure somewhere else, or not even to think of that and ignore that life. No, don't do that. And the only sin. Sin is to turn away from Krishna, turn away from your joy, the joyfulness, the highest joyfulness you can possibly experience. That is sin. Not doing this, doing that, stealing or lying or cheating. Those are not, that's only the superficial side things to do. What you're really missing is that inner experience of joy that is your birthright. You are sons of that land of nectar. Why you are not getting that? There you are turning away. Hariyananda. The joy of Hari. Okay? Any better to understand?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Hariyananda asked about the finished thing after initiation.
I'm sorry?
Hariyananda asked that some people think that their progress is finished after taking initiation.
Finish after initiation. That was it?
They already got everything after initiation.
Initiation, yes. Initiation is the beginning. Can you have everything at the beginning? In a way, yes. You already have everything. You are already a member of that higher world, but you are not conscious of it. How to become conscious of that? That is the beginning stage. Then development of that consciousness, full conception. But that comes by relationship. It's not an inspiration that you develop within your heart like that. That relationship, that development has to occur in relationship to your service, to Guru, to the Vaishnavas. It's a real thing, and not just something you work up in your imagination. The life of devotee, of devotion, must be there. It must be engaged. It's a living thing. The philosophers think they can figure everything from their chair, sitting in their chair and thinking. That's not proper understanding. That's not realization. Realization means engaging in the real world and seeing those things manifest in that real relationship with the Guru and service and the devotees. May not happen at once, but gradually it will reveal itself before the heart of a devotee. And within, internally and externally, you may experience all these things. But our process is externally we engage in these activities, and internally that process will develop. It depends. Krishna is not dependent upon any particular process. It's a very personal thing, very beautiful. Anyhow, what can I say? This Bhakti Yoga is called Anupalaksha Vartmane. In the Bhagavatam, it mentions this word, Anupalaksha Vartmane, the inconceivable path of Bhakti Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga, they have a certain process. You do this, that, the other thing. some rules, regulations, and you should make progress. In Bhakti Yoga, it's called Anupalaksha Varmane. Who can figure out what's going on? Anupalaksha. Inconceivable. How the Lord and the devotee develop their relationship. Excuse me. But we can only put ourselves, like I say, put yourself in the test tube and see how it works. See what reaction you get. And you should feel some progress being made. That's why chanting. Chanting, Krishna is so happy. Krishna is so pleased by those who only chant his name. In this Kali Yuga especially, he knows the difficulties of this age, how much there is distraction. But if someone can simply chant the Lord's name, call out to the Lord, glorify the Lord, telling the world, yes, there is Krishna. Take him, bring him into your heart. Express your appreciation, your love. He is very happy with that. Mahaprabhu, Mahavadanaya, he's teaching this only. And so far I see you are such wonderful devotees. They're so happy. I am so happy to see and know you. Give me inspiration. Give me inspiration. Because there's so much misunderstanding sometimes even within the devotee community. I hate to see that. And we're meant to have happy hearts, kind and loving hearts, loving life. And when the devotees exhibit those qualities, then I think they are having understood everything nicely, everything properly. Okay? Tony, you have another question?
No, no, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I am reading a book. I just started reading a book. This book, Think Like a Monk.
Okay.
First few pages. It's I have some of the questions I just asked also are in here. So, but I have been only in the first few pages. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. You're trying.
Okay. So maybe I'll think like a monk pretty soon. That's my objective. Thank you.
A monk.
Okay.
Anyhow. We don't have to try to imitate anybody. You have your own relation to Krishna. And it's very sweet and very dear. You are very dear to Krishna. And to awaken that consciousness of how much Krishna loves you and how much your love is there for Krishna. That's all we have to think about. Don't forget that, that's all. Take up your life, ordinary life, but also don't forget. Your love for Krishna is there and his love for you is there. And to develop that and awaken that. And that can be done very easily by those who are trying to do that also, the devotees. And by staying in touch with those who are trying to make that effort, you may also benefit and feel encouraged in your attempt to do that. That's called association, Sangha. Anyhow, then long commentary for today. Special day. Now, what shall we do? Shall we? I don't think we have enough time for bhajans, but maybe one bhajan for Gurudev. Ariyananda Prabhu, would you like to chant the bhajan about Gurudev, Kripa Bindu, you know that one?
Ariananda, Maharaj está perguntando se tu pode cantar Gurudev Kripa Bindu Dia.
Prabhu, esa canción le gusta mucho bueno, a Bhagavati, ¿la puede cantar ella?
Maharaj, Maharaj, he's asking that Bhagavati Didi loves this song, if she can sing.
Yes.
Seguro?
Gracias.
Very nice.
Gurudeva Kirpa Bindu Diya Guruveda Setrina Pesa Tirina Gurudeva Kirpa Bindu Diya Guruveda Setrina Pesa Tirina Sakale Sahane Bolodiya Koroni Chamane Sipahina Sakale samana kurite sakati
Sakale samana kurite sakati
Hare tu kaibo, Hare Rama Sute
Amitabe to gaibo, Hare Nama Sukhe, Aparado
Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Guru Dev, Srila Acharya Dev ki Jai. Jai Giri Govardhana ki Jai. Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki Jai. Glories to the simple devotees, the glories of the worldwide devotees. Giri Govardhan ki Jai. And
Yay.
glories to Sripad Shanta Maharaj and Ariyananda Prabhu and his associates, and Chandagopal and Shamakuri and their associates, and Uma Devi
Yay.
and Puni Maharaj and Tony and Krishna Keshava Prabhu, all devotees, and all worldwide devotees. Ki Jai. Om Premanandi Hari 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 Bol.
Jai Shri Madhava Puri Maharaj ki Jai.
Sripad Srila Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj ki
Hare Krishna. Try to encourage one another. Huh?
Tenta encorajar unos a los otros.
Hare Krishna. So then, shall we read some from the Prapanna Jivanamrita? Since we've been reading that book about Sharana, the qualities of the surrender souls. How to find joy in surrendering. Huh?
Que agora vamos ler el Prapanna Jivanamrita.
What is that?
Maharaj,
Yes.
I'm feeling a little tired, so I will listen the recording, Maharaj.
What do you say? Oh, Maharaj, please. You are working so hard. Always trying to nourish the devotees. Thank you, Maharaj.
Dandavad to all devotees. Dandavad.
Muni Maharaj already asleep? Long time. Okay.
Dandavad.
So the text, I think we left off on. Oh dear. Does anyone have that text?
Eight, 18, Maharaj.
Page 80?
18, yeah, page number 88.
88.
Yeah, 17 finished last week.
Huh?
Yeah, verses 18 finished, Maharaj.
Okay. Text 18, huh?
18 finished last week.
Okay, does everyone have that? Page 88, text 18, huh?
Yes.
Jaya Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Paribraja, Kacharya, Asatata Sata, Sripad, Bhakti, Rakshak, Sridhara, Goswami Maharaja ki Jai. I am the author of this compilation. And text 18. Tad Rakshak tad rakshakatve tad karunyam eva karanam prachinanam bhajanam atulam duskaram srinvato me nirashena jvalati vidayam bhakti leshalayas yeah vishva tirchim agahara tvakarnya karunavichim asa bindu kshitam idam upaityantare hanta saityam Sri Padanam. The cause of the Lord's protectiveness is his mercy only. O destroyer of sin, my heart is averse to a trace of devotion, and it burns in a fire of hopelessness when I hear about the incomparable, formidable devotional services rendered by the great predecessor devotees. But now that I have heard about the wave of your mercy which floods the universe, the core of my heart, sprinkled by a drop of hope, is soothed with cooling relief once again. Now, why? Nice. This is what I was trying to explain before also. Now, why is the Lord protecting us? Why would the Lord protect us? And it says here, by his mercy only. You may go to the court and the judge can punish you. He can do anything, right? Judge has to judge by his learning and also his heart's conviction. Whether to, what to do with you when you come to before the judge. Something has been done and he has to decide what is the consequence. If the judge has some merciful inclination toward you, then he can give you a good sentence, something that's not so harsh, or come up with some conclusion that will allow you to try again, depending on how he feels you have understood the law and are willing to carry out things in a nice way. It may give you some mercy. Mercy comes like that. It's not a lawful thing. Mercy is not act within the nature of law. Mercy comes somehow from the heart of the person who is wanting to extend that to you. So we are in that position with the Lord, with Krishna, and even with Guru. He, of course, Guru is automatically very merciful. His function in the service of the Lord is to be merciful, is to give mercy to others, give them a chance, encourage them to come to the higher level of service. That is his function. Just like I said, the infinite comes to the finite. And he does that by the intervention of Guru. That's the doorway to the infinite. Excuse me. So Guru is generally very merciful. Kripa Bindudiya. He gives us a drop of mercy. Because otherwise, what chance do we have? We are finite. How do we reach the infinite? The process is given through Guru. So Guru must be merciful. We expect that, actually, from Guru. I know I'm a fallen wretch, but I have no other choice but to take shelter of you. Otherwise, I have no hope in this world. So even however much we are fallen, however much we have forgotten, we should not be ashamed, embarrassed to come to Guru, because we really have no other choice. However rotten, however ungodly, however sinful, however evil we may be, we have no other choice No other choice but to come before Guru. I'm not worthy. There's no qualification in me whatsoever. You are my only hope. And then we begin from there and with that connection. And we engage and we try to do some service. However meager, however insincere, however dirty our hearts may be, we do some service. Okay, then Guru says, all right, you're starting. I want to give you a chance here. Take this mala, take this mantra, chant. Do this much at least. So this much service at least. Do this much. Take, chant Hare Krishna 4 times, 16 times, however many times you can chant as your duty, daily duty of service to Guru and Krishna. What more simple thing can you start with? That will be, if you do that regularly, faithfully, you'll begin your life of service. And just by the purification of doing that service, your hearts become purified. And then maybe a little more affection and love and desire to please Guru and Krishna will arise within your heart. And it will come according to the degree that you are interested in sincere serving and becoming free from all other desires, removing your attachment to other things. Knows just that one little service, chanting and hearing, will be enough to start you on the path of removing all your material attachments and directing your attention to the service of Guru and Krishna. That's all. You come a little bit toward Krishna, he will come a lot toward you. 1 step toward Krishna, he'll take 10 steps to you. So he says here, I'm in the fire, burning in the fire of hopelessness. But when I hear about the incomparable, formidable devotional service rendered by the great devotees, predecessor devotees, then I become a little convinced. They are doing that. They are human beings. And I also become a little bit like that. And why do they become like that? So much devoted to you. How did that happen? It's by your mercy. They must have received your mercy to be able to become like that. So your mercy is there. Putana came to kill you, but you made her a devotee. So many things with Jagai Matai. He came to hurt Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but they accepted them finally and became great saints. That is all by your mercy. There, your mercy is there. I recognize your mercy is there. And by that hope I have in my heart, although I have no other hope on my own to do anything, because we're all like that. We're all in an ocean of desperation, of death and whatnot. We don't see anything beyond this world. Well, you are there. I can't see you. I can't feel you. I can't talk to you. I don't know how to communicate. But I'm sure you are there, because look at this transformation that you have performed on so many great souls. I want that. I'm searching for that great transformation. This is Rupa Goswami, how he's thinking. You know, they're people just like us. Rupa Goswami, they all have the same kind of hearts as we have. Of course, they're very special also because they've got that grace. And we may not get that in many lifetimes. But we can't think like that. We have to think they are just human beings, and we are human beings. But they have reached these high levels of surrender. Sridhar Maharaj used to tell me, I am just like you. My nature is just like yours. He told me that several times. And I'm thinking, I'm just an ordinary person. What the heck kind of is he meaning? Is he telling me he's just an ordinary person like me? Or what is he saying? And that's what I thought. He thinks he's just an ordinary person, just as I think that there's no hope for me anywhere to be found in all three worlds. But I'm always thinking of Krishna. Although I don't think there's any possibility of coming to that high platform. I don't know how I could do that. Yet it is possible somehow by Krishna's grace. That we may come to know who he is and how to understand all these things that are given in the scriptures. They're explained by so many great saints that we worship so high as being so perfect. Could it be that their hearts feeling like that, so natural, ordinary, and yet having such high thoughts? We are told that in Vrindavan, the gopis feel they're ordinary cowherd girls. They don't think themselves great devotees. They're feeling like they're lusty little girls, having so much attraction to Krishna, this little boy. They don't think themselves great sages. Have reached the highest conclusion of knowledge or the absolute truth. They don't think like that. They think we're just ordinary people like us. Yet they have so much love, so much desire to serve, to please Krishna. The highest devotees, we are told, don't even think themselves Vaishnavas. To have a designation like that, I'm a Vaishnava, this is ego. They don't think like that. Very natural, spontaneous life of love and service. Anyhow, to understand the heart of a devotee is very difficult. But here, some kind of direction, some kind of feeling, some type of mood is being presented to us so that we meditate on that and let that be our consolation in our life of trying to come to the platform of Krishna consciousness, Radha Dasya, whatever. As much as we can realize, we are trying to allow room for that in our hearts. And this very nice book, this is a consolation. This book is a very great consolation to the hearts of the devotees to read this and inspire us. Bhagavata Sri Chaitanya Rupasya Param Audaryam This is the next text, 19. Ahanta chitta bhuvi me paramo sarayam sad bhakti kalpa tatikankurita katam syat vidyekameva paramas avasaniyam asti chaitanyanam kalayan na kadapi sochya Prabodhananda Bhadanam. The supreme magnanimity of the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Dev. Alas, alas, how will the charming, wish-fulfilling creeper of pure devotion ever sprout from the desperately barren plains of my consciousness? Despite my predicament, just one great hope awakens in my heart by chanting the name of Chaitanya Dev. Nothing can remain to be lamented for by anyone at any time. Prabodhananda Saraswatiya. In this world, most people don't have any connection, any even awareness, consciousness of Krishna in this world. To even have that much, even have a consciousness that this exists, that there is, that to have a contact with a guru of such nature as Sridhara Maharaj or Govinda Maharaj, Charya Maharaj, or those who have surrendered their lives completely to them. To even have connection with such souls. And what a great fortune. What a great fortune we have. Many people don't have that. And they never come in contact with that. And how unhappy that is. How unhappy. How unfortunate. But we, how did we get so special? Very wonderful. Very happy. We have such mercy. But we have to take advantage of that also. Proper advantage. Cultivate those things, those higher things they are giving us. Just to be able to chant Hare Krishna in this Kali Yuga. What incredible fortune that is. Given the name, to even know the name Krishna. And we can see by hearing from the devotees about Krishna, what an amazing idea that is. What an amazing, what an amazing, what shall we say, conception. Whatever you want to think. What an amazing personality. How awesome it is to be able to think of such things. The source of all things, source of all pleasure, source of all joy, all beauty, everything. Who would have thought of those things without Guru? That there could be such a life, such an idea, such a truth. So that's a very great fortune. And to be able to actually believe and relate, try to relate to that. They are all very blessed. They are all very pious souls to be able to have that opportunity. And then try to distribute that to others. Because when you recognize how fortunate you are, then you can try to give that fortune to others. And give that good fortune to others, even in the smallest way. or the greatest way, whatever. It's very nice the way Prabodhananda Saraswati tells us, the charming, wish-fulfilling creeper of pure devotion ever sprout from the desperately barren plains of my consciousness. The wish-fulfilling creeper, the Bhakti Lata. It's described like that. Guru Dev gives us the beach. The beach means the seed, but that seed must be cultivated. We can say initiation is to give us that seed. And maybe in Ariananda, it means something like this, that we have to cultivate it. Huh? The creeper is a creeper. It's creeping along. It doesn't come all at once. Huh? It doesn't come all at once. It has to be developed, nurtured within our own hearts. But that nurturing requires some watering. The seed, then a creeper won't develop on its own, just by some inner movement of the seed. It has to be watered, huh? And there Guru Dev and the other things come in. But yes, we develop that relationship with Krishna. It develops between you and Krishna. And Guru, of course. We're not just directly concerned with the relationship with Krishna. We're concerned with the service of Krishna, the pleasing of Krishna, and those who can most effectively satisfy the Lord. We're interested in serving them. That if they can help them, we don't expect that we ourselves can directly engage with Krishna. But those who know how to do that, those who know how to serve Him, if we can help them, that will be our joy. Radharani's thoughts are like that. I am not the best servant of Krishna. She thinks, I'm not the best servant. I can find someone who can serve Krishna better than me. I'm ready to promote them. Let them do it. I'll help them. You know, the difference between Radharani and Chandravali? Chandravali thinks, I am the best servant of Krishna. I want to do everything. Although you get out of the way. Get out of the way. Don't bother me in my service. Radharani thinks just the opposite. Oh, here's someone who can serve Krishna better than, let me help her. Let me help her. She can please Krishna. I'm not in that position. Nothing can remain to be lamented for by anyone at any time once we recognize what is that thing that is the most beautiful, most effective, most enhancing, most fulfilling in my life. Then we don't think about what I'm giving up to come to that position. What in my life I was taking pleasure from, that will be eliminated automatically once I find that which is more fulfilling, what I was trying to find happiness through. So many things we can feel we are getting some benefit from. But once we come to the devotional line and of serving Guru and Krishna, then all those other things, they fade away. We don't find them fulfilling as chanting, as fulfilling as serving Krishna. We don't find that fulfillment in those things. And we don't even lament those things that are giving us satisfaction our whole lives. We don't lament losing them. Anyhow, some basic things to think about, to meditate on, to practice, to distribute. The whole, I'm thinking the whole devotional community that we may be attached to may go by the wayside. I've had to go through this a couple of times already in my life. The whole devotional community may have to be abandoned. We put all of our helps and joys in, but we still find some satisfaction and remaining true to those things which are being taught, which we have been taught. It's enough for us. Whether we are alone or with hundreds of others or thousands of others, doesn't make any difference. We're sad, but at the same time, we recognize there's some very special relationship we have and not dependent on other things. Remain faithful to Guru Dev, what we have learned, and pray that we are in his hands, everything is in his hands, that he will lead us in the right direction. We'll go in the right way, no matter what. To have some company on the way, that's very nice. And if there's none, that is okay too. I think of Srila Prabhupada, Sridhara Maharaj, Bhakti Prabhupada also. They had nothing around them to support them. Prabhupada left Gaudiya Mutt. He went on and he preached. He made his own devotees. He got his own Sadhu-Sanga. He made his own, the sadhus around him, pure sadhus, pure devotees. And he was able to go on like that. Quite amazing. And Sridhar Maharaj also, he had to leave everything. Everyone, God brothers and whatnot behind. But those who were sincere, they came, they supported him. So like that, sometimes we have to have such bold vision, such a bold heart, courageous heart. Pray that Krishna will take care of us. Anyhow, that's, I think, what time is it? Okay. Now it's going to go too long. You all have your devotional lives to engage in for services. And I appreciate your taking some time to come here and encourage me. I feel very happy to have that, your association. Anything anyone wants to say? I wish your devotional lives may increase, your progress may increase more and more.
Eu gostaria só de falar que foi tão perfeito e tão maravilhoso esse encontro, que não há palavras a que ser falado, a ser só agradecer.
I would like to say that was so amazing and so perfect this meeting, as always, Maharaj, with you, that I have nothing to say.
Só
Just the
agradecer.
thank and my dandavat.
It's Purnima, huh?
Yes.
Thank you.
Nice.
All right. Please be careful. Take care of your health and continue what you are doing to help with Shanta Maharaj and expressing your truth what you take as truth and expressing that and encouraging that. And let's see, in India, their motto, and like in America, the motto is "In God We Trust." A nice, also very nice motto, if they actually do that. But in India, what the motto is? Satyam eva jayate. You know the meaning? Satyam eva jayate. It means the truth will be victorious. Also very nice motto. So truth will be victorious. That's all we wish for. Not that what I understand, not what you understand, but the truth. That will be victorious. Okay. All right. My humble dandavats. Dandavat pranam. Jai Gurudev. Jai Guru Purnima ki jai. Jai Jai Maharaj ki jai. Govinda Maharaj, Srila Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Vaishnavinda ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Srila Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Krishna Keshava Prabhu ki jai. Gaura Bhakta
Jai.
ki jai. Nam Sankirtan ki jai.
Jai.